In today's World Traveler, we're going to take a close look at Queenstown, New Zealand. We're in the South Island, in the vacation center of the country. Heading south, we're going to fly down to Queenstown, passing some splendid scenery along the way, flying past what's called the New Zealand Alps. And these are really some high mountains. Mount Cook is the most famous of all the mountains in the South Island, but this whole spine of the island is lined with these majestic Alps. And then we make our descent and landing at Queenstown, where we're met by our bus driver, who's going to be our guide for the next few days and take us around. It's a beautiful town on the shores of Lake Wakatipu. It's great for walking. There's a pedestrian mall area right in the center. But Queenstown is most famous for its natural setting and the lakes and mountains around it. There's a lot of nice day trips that you can take out from Queenstown. And there's boating, hiking, fishing, relaxing, picnicking, all kinds of activities to do here in Queenstown and the surrounding area. This is Dennis Callan for World Traveler in Queenstown. We're on the South Island of New Zealand, towards the southern end of the South Island. So we're pretty far down there. It's a beautiful place. It's on the lake, as you see here, Wakatipu. And they've got boating, they've got paragliding, they've got all kinds of outdoor adventures, most famous for their jet boat, the Shotover jet boat. You can go for a boat ride on the lake, or you can go on several of the nearby rivers, especially the Shotover River. That's the most famous one. It's a wild ride. And just the scenery, you really don't have to do anything except sit on a bench and look around you if you wish for some very entertaining sights. The mountains all around here. And then the town itself is really cute. It's only a small place. It's about 5 blocks wide and 5 blocks deep, right along the lake shore. There's a lot of shops. There's a lot of restaurants and cafes and bars, postcard places, souvenir shops, and a lot of clothing stores, a lot of outdoor gear shops as well. Now, this town is small enough that it has the feeling of a quaint village, and yet large enough that there's a lot of things to do here. A lot of the shops downtown will keep you busy for the shoppers, and they say they've got 300 restaurants and cafes in town. Pretty remarkable number. That's not even counting the hotel dining rooms. So you'll find plenty to keep you busy here in Queenstown. Just behind me you see a large steamboat. It's the Earnslaw. It's been cruising the lake for over 90 years. You can take a ride across the lake for an hour-and-a-half round trip, or you can get off at the other end and have dinner and watch a sheep show and then cruise back later in the evening. Either way, it's a nice experience here in Queenstown. There's just so many things to do. There's easily a dozen fun activities that can keep you busy for 3 days here in Queenstown, maybe more. So you don't want to spend just one day here. But if that's all the time you've got, hey, it's worth it just to see the surroundings, the beautiful mountains, the remarkables, and some of the nature trails are worth a stroll. There's a botanical gardens in town as well. And the town is nicely laid out right along the waterfront here. They've got a beach. You could swim in the lake, although it's pretty nippy. They say that the average temperature of the water never varies more than a few degrees throughout the year because the lake scooped out by the glaciers, as most of the landforms around here were. The mountains, the valleys, all carved out by the glaciers eons ago. And that's why we have such a dramatic landscape. These mountains in the Southern Alps, they're called, in the South Island, are among the most vertical mountains in the world. They're so dramatic, they go straight up for thousands of feet. In many cases, it's a vertical cliff face, and most cases, it's the sharpest, most dramatic mountains you've ever seen. Maybe not as high as our Rocky Mountains in America, but more vertical and so they seem higher. They definitely are mountainous, like the Alps in Switzerland, and that's why they call them the Southern Alps. We'll take you on a little stroll now through Queenstown and show you some of their main shopping streets. They've only got like 5 shopping streets, and they're quite fun, so let's go take a walk and have a look at them. Running right through the middle of Queenstown is the Queenstown Mall. It's a short pedestrian promenade lined with shops and cafes on both sides, and it's really the heart and soul of town. It's the center of the action. There's some very good restaurants here, for example, the Tattler, there's Chico's, there's wine shops, there's clothing stores, and it's just a fun place to hang out. And then there's Beach Street, 1 block over, and then Shotover Street, which is a bigger commercial street with some traffic. It's a wide street now, and it's got a lot of stores and outdoor activity centers as well. But I think that the most tranquil spot in town is really the mall and the waterfront. And they are connected right here in the center of Queenstown, so it's very easy to find your way around. And there's some really nice hip cafes. You can come for your morning cappuccino or perhaps a brunch, get a croissant and read the local papers, meet some local folks, and just generally hang out here. Of course, most of the time while you're in Queenstown, you're going to be kept busy with the activities, the adventure activities out touring the countryside, which is really the main reason for coming to Queenstown, not to hang out at a pedestrian mall. But you'll have some downtime in the evening certainly, and this is a place to gravitate back to. You find that these shops stay open late until about 9 o'clock, and the reason for that being that most everybody is out during the day, out in the countryside, on the lake, on the river, off to Milford Sound, doing full daytime activities, so they're not in town as much during the day shopping. So therefore the stores all stay open late to accommodate 7 days a week. There are actually 20,000 people living in the general area here, so it isn't that tiny. But the heart of town really is small. Small but compact and really well designed. The way they've done it, they've done a beautiful job.